warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Tuan Maksud Furizon, Virtual Zaman Rahman, AS1 0595. Okay, so our group will present about reproduction system. Okay, so in this topic, we must present three chapters. So chapter outline in this topic. First is how animals reproduce. Second, human male reproductive, and third, human female reproductive. Okay, so important term in this topic is teachers. Gonads is like testes, cross fertilization, ovaries, epididymis, vasa differentia, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and bulbar gland. Okay, so first, I will present about asexual and sexual reproduction in animal. Okay, so in this animal we have two, asexual and sexual. Okay, so in a single parent give rise to offspring that are identical to parents unless mutation have occurred. Okay, so, next, sponge, annelide, and anaconda have ability to regenerate from fragments. So he has ability to regenerate. So for the first species, he regenerates from the fragment to produce the uh, to make reproduction. Okay, so for the sexual reproduction, the egg of one parent is fertilized by the sperm of another. Okay, so in animal they have gonads, testes, and ovaries. Function of gonads to produce sperm and ovaries to produce egg. So when they combine, so will become zygote. Okay, next, flatworm, lizard, fish have ability to reproduce parthenogenetically. So parthenogenes is a modification of sexual reproduction in which an unfertilized egg develops into a complete individual. Okay, so aquatic animal practice a fertilization in which release an unique of the egg in bodies of for the reproduction. Okay, so like seahorse, he has seahorse, he has egg in their male stomach. Okay, seahorse, he has keep their egg in stomach. So for production of sperm, he has to a lobus of testis contains seminiferous tubule. Okay. Next, like micrograph of a cross section of the seminiferous tubule where spermatogenesis occur. Okay. So the next is the grammatic representation of spermatogenesis which occurs in the wall of tubule. Okay. Lastly, the picture sperm has a head and middle piece and tail. Next, so I want you all to take note about how to process the process of sperm. Okay, so first, during spermatogenesis, spermatogonia divide to produce spermatocyte. Okay, so the number of the chromosome is 2n. Okay, so in one sperm it has 23 chromosome. So after that, spermatocyte move away from the outer wall and undergo meiosis 1. Okay, so it will undergo the meiosis 1 to produce secondary spermatocyte. Okay, each secondary spermatocyte has only 23 chromosome. Okay, secondary spermatocyte undergo meiosis 2 to produce 4 spermatite. Okay, so each of which also has 23 chromosome. Okay, so then spermatite differentiate into sperm. Okay, spermatite will differentiate into sperm, and after that, after 24 days, spermatogenome to develop into sperm. So you all get the information here. So from the spermatogenesis, so he has spermatogonia divide into primary spermatocyte. After that, spermatocyte will undergo meiosis 1, produce secondary spermatocyte. Okay, secondary spermatocyte will produce 4 spermatite, and then spermatite differentiate into sperm. Okay, that's all from me.
Welcome and very good morning to all my friend and Dr. Hafiza. Today, my name is Hairul Zambi Hashim. We present about male reproductive system. Okay. First, we will see about the objective, which is this lesson we will identify the structure and the major organ of the male reproductive system and describe their function. Okay. Firstly, what is male reproductive system? The reproductive system is conceived of a number of sex organs that are a part of human reproductive process. It produce, store, and release the male gametes or sperm. Okay, male reproductive organ we can uh, male reproductive organ consists of two groups, which is external genital organ and internal genital organ. In the external genital organ, it consists of two, which is penis and the scrotum. Meanwhile, in the internal genital organ, it has four, which is testis, epididymis, vas deferens, accessory glands. And accessory gland have three, which is seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and bulbouratory gland. Okay. Proceed to the next slide. Okay, this is the side view and the front view of the male reproductive system. You can see the side view, which is a lot of detailed organ, but in our syllabus of the media, we need to uh, remember a little of organ. Next slide. Okay, external genital organ, which is penis and the scrotum. Okay, firstly, penis. The penis is the organ which the sperm introduced into the female. So this the which last station from the male reproductive system, then go to the female reproductive system. It contains spongy tissues that become turgid and which or hard, and when erect, when filled with blood. Okay, a little detail. Urethra. Urethra is where the tube. As you can see, there a tube. This one, yes, this tube, where penis convey semen out of body. So then gland. Gland is this the head of the penis, which is rounded, highly sensitive head of penis. Prepuce is a fold of skin covering head of the penis. Okay, scrotum. Scrotum is a pouch of skin from the lower part of abdominal wall. The scrotum keep the testes at a temperature slightly cooler than body temperature. Thus, the scrotum at the outside of body. As we know, our body has a high temperature of body. Thus, the testis and the scrotum is outside to maintain the temperature of the testes, so the production of the sperm is effective. We proceed to the internal genital organ. Okay, the first is testis. The testes are two oval male organ that produce sperm and hormone testosterone. Testosterone is the primary male sex hormone, where it will develop the maturation of a boy, like give out the Adam pearl, give more muscular body and more hairy body. Next, each testis is made of tightly coiled structure called seminiferous tubule. Among tubule are cells that produce testosterone. Thus, the seminiferous tubule is the way the testosterone are produced. Epididymis. Okay, the epididymis is tightly coiled tubes against the testicle. It acts as a maturation and storage for the sperm. Thus, there is place where there is store our sperm. Vas deferens. Vas deferens is the thin tube that starts from the epididymis to the urethra in the penis. Thus, as you can see, this is the urethra, this is the epididymis. So it start from here until over here. Is thus the transport from the epididymis in the anticipation of ejaculation. So there is a birth control form which is called vasectomy, where it cut the vas deferens. Thus, the transportation of the sperm is stuck. Thus, there is no sperm transfer to the female reproductive system. Okay. Accessory gland, which consists of three: seminal vesicle, prostate gland, bulboretal gland. This gland produces nourishing fluid for the sperm that enter the urethra. Oh, seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle are sac-like structure to the vas deferens at one side of bladder. This one, they produce yellowish fluid that contains fructose. Fructose is for the nutrition for the sperm. Prostate gland. Prostate gland is surround the ejaculatory duct. This one is around the ejaculatory duct at the base of urethra. The prostate gland is responsible for making production of semen, a liquid or for the mixture of the sperm. So sperm life is more longer. Bulboretal gland. Bulboretal gland are two small glands located at the side of urethra just below the prostate gland. You can see the diagram. This one. This one is covered by the video. Then it produces a clear slippery fluid that empties directly into the urethra, which is it will produce a fluid that out first, then the sperm out after that. Okay, review for my presentation. We can say that the main function of male reproductive system is to produce sperm cell and deliver them to the female reproductive system. It consists of two, which is external and internal organ, which are essential for the continuous reproduction of life. Okay, for extra information, as you know, there is a cancer for the male reproductive system, which is testis cancer, which is a majority, the most majority cancer that develop that make many men will die by the cancer. So the advice is, as you need to follow up your medical checkup yearly, so it will confirm our health and make our body more healthy. Okay. Okay, we continue to the next topic, which is hormone regulation. Hormone. In this topic, we need to know 4 hormone, which is gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is known as GnRH, follicle stimulating hormone FSH, luteinizing hormone LH, and inhibin. The function of the hormone. GnRH stimulates the anterior pituitary to produce gonadotropic hormone LH and FSH. Meanwhile, LH is the function is to control the production of androgen testosterone all or testosterone by the intestinal cell or known as Leydig cell. The function of FSH is stimulate to produce sperm, also known as spermatogenesis. Okay, this is the diagram. As you can see, the diagram show the how hormone regulation occur at the male reproductive system. Okay, firstly, GnRH from the hypothalamus stimulate the secretion of LH and follicle stimulating hormone FSH at the anterior pituitary. As you know, LH, these two LH, stimulate the testosterone secretion for the interstitial cell or Leydig cell. FSH stimulate the sustentacular cell of the seminiferous tubule to increase spermatogenesis and to secrete inhibin. The number 4. Testosterone has a stimulatory effect on the sustentacular cell of the seminiferous tubule as well as on the development of reproductive organ and the secondary sexual characteristic. As you know, number 5. As you know, the testosterone has a negative feedback on the hypothalamus and pituitary to produce GnRH, LH, and FSH secretion. So, when the production of testosterone increase, it will give negative feedback to the hypothalamus to stop the production of GnRH, LH, and FSH. Meanwhile, the when FSH is stimulated, it will produce inhibin. When the production of inhibin is high, then inhibin has a negative feedback on the anterior pituitary to reduce the FSH secretion. Thus, it shows how the regulation occurs. Thus, in this regulation, it only occur the negative feedback, which is when one hormone is in high amount, it will stop the hormone to stop another hormone to stop the production. To more understanding, you can see the diagram. It shows how the green one is stimulatory and the red one is inhibitory. When LH is high, it will make the inhibitory of the LH. When the FSH is high, inhibin will inhibitory the FSH. Thus, it shows how the hormone regulation occur in our male reproductive system. Okay, thank you. That's all. The
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Azli binti Zuhaimi, and I am going to present to you about human female reproduction. And it also produces female sex hormone, which is estrogen and progesterone. The uterus. The function of the uterus is house developing embryo and fetus. Actually, is the place where the embryo and fetus develop. So the characteristic of the uterus is thick wall, muscular organ. The narrow end of the uterus is called the cervix. Opening in the cervix lead to the vaginal canal. So we move to the vagina and the uterine tube. The vagina. The function of the vagina is receive release during copulation and serve as birth canal. So this is the vagina where the characteristic of vagina is to add 45 angle to the small of the back, and it contains mucosal lining, and they have a resident bacteria which is the type of bacteria, different type of bacteria, normally reside in the vagina, create an acidic environment to protect against pathogen or to protect from the possible growth of pathogenic bacteria. But the sperm is more prefer the basic environment provided by semen. So for the uterine tube, the function of the uterine tube is conduct egg and location of fertilization, and it is the fallopian tube. They have two, right? Okay. So cycle occur as a follicle changes from a primary to a secondary follicle, and finally vesicular follicle under the influence of FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, luteinizing hormone. So for the ovarian cycle, the epithelial cell of the primary follicle surround primary oocyte. So this is the first primary follicle contain oocyte and begin producing the sex hormone estrogen. So second, follicular fluid surround the oocyte in the secondary follicle. Secondary follicle contains secondary oocyte and produce the sex hormone, which is estrogen and progesterone. In vesicular follicle, a fluid-filled cavity increases to the point that follicle will balloon out of the surface of the ovary. So this is the vesicular follicle. So this is the how coprolistium, how the ovarian cycle works. So from the primary follicle to the secondary follicle to the vesicular graphene follicle, be a corpus luteum, and so on. So for the oogenesis and ovulation, for the oogenesis, as a follicle matures, oogenesis, a phase of meiosis initiates and continues, and the primary oocyte divide, producing two haploid cells. Two haploid cells, which is secondary oocytes and polar body. Okay. Okay, just now I explained about the oogenesis and process, and now the ovulation process. When the vesicular follicle burn, releasing the secondary oocyte or oocyte we known as egg, surrounded by clear membrane. So vesicular follicle first. Okay. So as you can see, the graphene is also the vesicular follicle. So this vesicular follicle is how the ovulation happens. It bursts, releasing the secondary oocyte and surrounded by clear membrane. So when the vesicular follicle lost the secondary oocyte, it develops into corpus luteum. So when this when this vesicular follicle lost secondary oocyte, it develops into corpus luteum, which is this. And the secondary oocyte, we enter the secondary oocyte, enter here secondary oocyte, enter the uterine tube, and enter the uterine tube. And if the fertilization occurs, a sperm enter the secondary oocyte, and the oocyte can complete the meiosis and become an egg. You can refer from the figure 41.9b. An egg with 23 chromosomes and a second polar body result. So when the sperm nucleus unite with the nucleus of the egg, the zygote result with 46 chromosomes is produced. If zygote formation and pregnancy does not occur, the corpus luteum will degenerate. If pregnancy does not occur, corpus luteum degenerate. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Farhana Munira binti Muhammad Isham, and I will be explaining about control and phases of the ovarian cycle. Okay, for hormonal control of ovaries, firstly, the hypothalamus produces GnRH, which is gonadotropic releasing hormone. So what GnRH does is that it stimulates anterior pituitary to produce FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and also LH, luteinizing hormone. FSH stimulates the follicle to produce primarily estrogen, while LH stimulates the corpus luteum to produce primarily progesterone. Okay, in ovarian cycle, it is divided into 3 different phases. First phase is follicular phase, second phase is ovulation, and the last phase is luteal phase. In follicular phase, which is during the first 13 days of ovarian cycle, FSH promotes the development of a follicle that primarily secretes estrogen. FSH promotes the development of follicle that primarily secretes estrogen. As the level of estrogen begins increasing, what happens is that it will exert a negative feedback to anterior pituitary secretion of FSH. This causes the follicular phase to come to an end as FSH is no longer being produced. And also, as the level of estrogen keeps on getting higher, it will actually exert a positive feedback to both hypothalamus and to anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary will produce more LH, while hypothalamus will produce more GnRH. This is why during ovulation, you can see that the level of LH spike as LH is being produced by anterior pituitary earlier. Ovulation occurs during the 14th day, and vesicular follicle burst, releasing secondary oocyte called egg. Lastly, for luteal phase, which is during days 15 to 28, LH promotes the development of corpus luteum, which primarily secretes progesterone. So as the level of progesterone increases, it will exert negative feedback toward anterior pituitary secretion of LH. Therefore, this is when corpus luteum begins to degenerate and the ovarian cycle comes to an end. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the beginning of ovarian cycle, which is the follicular phase, this is when FSH is the highest. But as estrogen increases, it will, as a negative feedback, toward the anterior pituitary secretion of FSH, and therefore FSH begins to decrease and LH starts increasing until the ovarian cycle comes to an end. Next is the uterine cycle. Uterine cycle is also divided into 3 different phases. The first phase is menstrual phase, second phase is proliferative phase, and third phase is secretory phase. During the menstrual phase, which is the first 5 days of uterine cycle, this is when all women have low level of female sex hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. Endometrium disintegrate and its blood vessel rupture. A flow of blood passes out of vagina, known as menstrual period occur. Next is proliferative phase, which is during the day 6 to day 13. Level of estrogen begins increasing, and therefore endometrium also thicken and become vascular and glandular. Last phase is secretory phase, which is during the day 15 to day 28. Progesterone begins increasing, and endometrium also double in thickness. Uterine glands mature, producing a thick mucoid secretion. Okay. As mentioned earlier, in menstruation, during the beginning of menstruation, the level of estrogen and progesterone is the lowest compared to the whole cycle. But moving on to proliferative phase, you can see that the level of estrogen begins increasing, and also endometrium starts to thicken. And in secretory phase, the production of progesterone also increase, and endometrium also double in its thickness. So if fertilization occur, and the endometrium is prepared for the development of embryo. Okay, for menstruation, what happens during menstruation is arteries that supply the lining, constrict, and capillaries weaken, and menstruation usually lasts from 3 to 5 days. And also, the dying cells actually release an enzyme called fibrinolysin that prevents blood from clotting. And the first menstrual period, which every woman has experienced in their lifetime, is called menarche. Menarche typically occurs between the ages of 11 and 13. And also, as a woman starts to age, they will eventually experience menopause. Menopause is the time in women's life when menstruation ceases because the ovaries are no longer functioning. It usually occurs between ages 45 and 55. Okay. For fertilization and pregnancy, if fertilization occurs and embryo begins its development, even as it travels from the uterine tube to the uterus, and several days after fertilization, embryo is embedded in the uterine lining. At first, placenta produces human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG. HCG maintains corpus luteum until placenta begins its own production of progesterone and estrogen. So the function of progesterone and estrogen is that it maintains the lining of the uterus so that corpus luteum is no longer needed, and it also shuts down anterior pituitary so that no new follicle will mature. And lastly, I will be talking about the female breast. Lactation, which is the production of milk by the cells of the ovuli, is stimulated by the hormone called prolactin. During pregnancy, production of prolactin is suppressed by the feedback inhibition effect of estrogen and progesterone on the anterior pituitary. This is why during pregnancy, women don't produce milk, because the production of prolactin is suppressed. However, few days after giving birth, production of milk will start being produced for breastfeeding. Okay, when we talk about breast, I am sure that most of us know the most common disease that is related to breast, which is the breast cancer. And breast cancer is actually the second most common type of cancer among women in the United States. And based on current rates, 12% of the women born today is most likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer once in their lifetime. So it is very important for us to know the signs and symptoms for breast cancer, such as the breast will begin to swelling, and also there will be redness, or there will be breast and nipples swelling, there will be nipple discharge, and there will be lumps and so many other symptoms that we should all be aware of. And with that being said, I hope that every woman will start to be more aware of their breast condition, as prevention is better than cure. That's all from me and my group. Thank you.